let's talk about XXL. Which I watched, what's it called? DC The Don dropped behind the scenes on the Outlaw channel of the XXL situation. And honestly, bro, it made me appreciate this year a little bit more because behind the scenes, it seemed like everyone really had like good chemistry and everyone was vibing and it was just good energy. And it's, you know, it's good to see that, bro. Honestly, I love to see rappers getting along. In such a competitive sport at this point, it feels like that's rare to see, especially with newer artists, but everyone was vibing, especially like they was freestyling and stuff, trading bars, like it was hard. So that's cool to see. But in general, I think we can all agree XXL this year was very meh. Like it was underwhelming. It's been a couple days now, and as far as I know, we're not getting a cypher with Central C and Glorilla at all. I guess they just wanted to be on the cover and that's it, because we didn't get a freestyle or a cypher verse from either of them. I know both of them did ABCs, but like, who watches the ABCs nowadays? You know, like who does that, bro? We're here for the verses, bro. We're here for the verses, but it's literally been over a week since the cyphers came out, and no sign of that. So that's kind of whack. But yeah, a lot of people were saying that XXL this year was trash. I think it was better than I expected, but I already had low hopes, so that's not really saying much. Too Rare's verse was not it. And a lot of people are clowning him for dancing now because they're saying that he ran out of bars and just decided to dance the pain away. I don't know. But this is a mattyballz video talking about why no one cares about XXL now. And I'm very excited to see this because I feel like there's going to be some valid points in here.
XXL is a very popular magazine in the hip-hop space, but they are especially known for their annual classes. Every year they release a list of 10 artists that are on the rise.
I feel like this was the last like great year, and even still it wasn't that great because like Smoke Perp, Block Boy, JB, YB, and Amer, like where are they at now? You know. But we had the Jid and Ski Mask freestyle, so that was fire. Or cypher, I mean, that was fire.
All sorts of content with them, but people have always gravitated towards the ciphers. The annual freshman lists and ciphers have always generated a lot of buzz. However, it seems like people's interest is dwindling. Since 2016...
Honestly, bro, I'm more hyped for the AMP cypher. The AMP cypher drops this year, and in years past, it was just cool that they did that, but nowadays, I feel like they are the interesting cypher. You know, like, no one really cares about XXL, bro. When's AMP dropping, you know?
The views on the ciphers in particular have gone down 98%. Just recently, they were...
98%, bro? I can only imagine... Did I just spill this? No, I didn't. I can only imagine what's going on through Pierre's mind. Who gave Lil Tyler this beat? Falls off hard on hard every yikes.
2023 ciphers, and it has been met with a lot of negative reception. So after looking into it, I've come up with 3 reasons as to why interest in XXL has declined over the years. But first, to understand, we have to go way back to when XXL was just a small magazine.
Okay.
In 1997, Reggie Dennis, Robert Marriott, and James Bernard started XXL. These 3
they were editors from The Source. Yo, The Source was like it back in the day, bro.
Previously editors from The Source, which was another magazine in the hip-hop space.
Also
for a while, XXL lived in the shadow of The Source, and the 2 magazines even had some beef. They also actually had some beef with Eminem, who was upset at them because they said they don't do articles on white rappers. But after he blew up, they did a story on him saying he was a culture vulture and a KKK member. So he dissed them on the song Marshall Mathers with some pretty hilarious lines. Funnily enough, XXL actually responded to the diss by putting Eminem on the cover of one of their magazines, which is pretty crazy. Anyways, the first issue that XXL ever released was a double cover with Master P and Jay-Z. In the early 2000s, XXL began reaching higher heights and becoming a much more important magazine in the hip-hop community.
Honestly, I feel like it's still cool. Like people that collect the old magazines and stuff is hard to see those.
It up with Eminem and sort of began to replace The Source in popularity. Paul Cantor of Medium.com said that by the time he started writing for XXL in 2004, things were booming. Meanwhile, the internet was becoming much more popular, and by 2007, there were a ton of blogs in the hip-hop space popping up. XXL was on top of things though, and created a website to publish articles very quickly. They were able to maintain relevance through this quick adaptation. Then in 2008, after almost 9 years of working there, the chief editor of XXL, Elliot Wilson, was let go from the company, but not before leaving.
I was about to say, when was bro with XXL? I've only known him to be with Rap Radar.
Behind a crucial idea. Elliot, along with his staff, came up with the iconic annual freshman class list, which would be what XXL is best known for today. Elliot Wilson and the rest of the staff at XXL released the first issue of the freshman class in 2007. Vanessa Sadden, the current chief editor of XXL, said that they were tired of putting the same faces and big artists on their covers, so they wanted to showcase newer artists on the scene. The 2007 class featured artists like Lupe Fiasco, Lil Boosie, Plies, and more. The first freshman class was simply a magazine with no extra online content, as they were just kind of getting into the digital world. In 2008, they didn't release a freshman class issue, likely because Elliot Wilson left that year. Then in 2009, Vanessa Sadden became the chief editor of XXL, and she was clearly invested in all of the different mediums of content that XXL was putting out.
And you've got to double up on content. You've got to be able to do content for a daily basis and then for a monthly basis. What you do for a website is a whole different thing.
Terrible feeling about for DC. Honestly, I don't, bro. DC, like, he was hanging out with A$AP Rocky the other day, bro. Like, literally, bro. I made XXL, and I feel like this is like his ticket into the mainstream. Finally. It's crazy. I'm just glad bro's finally getting some recognition, bro. That's really it. And he had the best cypher verse. It's between him, Tia Corinne, and Lola Brooke. Honestly. And Sleazy. Sleazy World went crazy, too.
Magazine. You treat the content differently. So you just have to be
DC had the best photo.
What you're creating and for what audience your audiences are, based on whether it's the magazine or the website, because they can be the same audience or they can be different.
So, like,
honestly, the highlight of XXL this year was Pierre making the beats. For real. That was the highlight of this year, actually.
Under her direction, in the 2009 freshman class issue, they put out much more content with the artists. They put out 3 covers with different artists like Wale, B.O.B., Kid Cudi, and more. However, it was also the first year
where they buzz because of how people real. Yeah, the group. Yeah, they had way too many people on that cipher, bro. Honestly, I feel that way even more now than when I first reacted to it. There were too many people on there, but like I said, they did have good chemistry outside of the cipher, like off camera, like behind the scenes and stuff. They definitely had good chemistry. So, you know, I guess it worked out in general, but DC definitely carried though. So, you know, I guess it overall it'll work out in his favor regardless.
A cappella freestyles with each artist. They also released a freestyle with Asher Roth, Charles Hamilton, and Mickey Fax, who were actually freestyling, going back and forth, having fun, with a beat playing in the background.
Yo, hats off to Ash Roth. Now it's time for me to blast off.
See, this is the same type of vibe that I'm gonna pull up the behind the scenes after this, just so y'all can see. It was this type of vibe.
Kid Cudi even popped in for a quick bar. And while it wasn't technically the first cipher, it essentially set the foundation for what would happen in the coming years. Following that, in 2010, they had one of their best.
Yo, where's Asher Roth nowadays, bro? Like, what happened to him, man? Bro literally pioneered frat rap and then just disappeared.
Classes ever that would really set a precedent going forward. Vanessa had stated in interviews that they wanted to get artists that were set to blow and show a lot of longevity, without them having a debut studio album out with a record label. She had also mentioned that the freshman class is the XXL staff's opinions about which artists are up next, and that it wasn't entirely objective or voted in by fans. So with that in mind, I think XXL was right on the money when they chose artists like J. Cole, Nipsey.
This is one of the best ones, bro. J-Rock, Freddie Gibbs, Nipsey, Cole,
Hustle,
bro.
Wiz Khalifa, Freddie Gibbs, J-Rock, and many more for the 2010 freshman class.
Big Sean,
as far as content goes,
bro.
they released the magazine along with the acapella freestyles with each artist. The next year, XXL would make another significant change that would become quite iconic in years to come, and that was the release of the freshman ciphers. The 2011 class featured plenty of great picks like Mac Miller, Lil B, Kendrick Lamar, YG, and Meek Mill. They released a ton of extra content like the roundtable interviews.
The XXL freshman cover is that one thing that you always strive for when you start really getting serious, when you like always would get the cover and you'd be like, one day maybe I'm gonna be on there, and it's just wild to actually be on there.
Right. You know what I mean? 'Cause we coming up, we look at this magazine, you know what I mean? This the shit, we gotta jump on it, and to even be in it and then be on it,
Did they do a roundtable interview this year? I don't think they've done roundtables the last 2 years. Honestly, I feel like the last one I remember was with Jack Harlow and Lil Keed and Polo G and them. Like, I don't remember one from last year at all or this year.
And of course, the ciphers. Pretty quickly, the XXL freshman list became a staple in hip-hop culture, signifying that an artist was on the come-up and was up next. They were only a couple years in and were pretty accurate with their picks. XXL was also a very popular magazine by this time, so the freshman list had some extra credibility.
If you are nominated to be on this cover, that's like a form of acclamation saying that you're on your way up the ladder.
They were so popular and important that people would argue every single year over who should have made the list. And the controversy really helped the list become even more popular.
Personally, I'm gonna speak my mind.
Please.
I think a lot of the motherfuckers on the list is corny as
Some lists were definitely better than others, but XXL was fairly accurate and was able to pick
I think the first time when they really had banger list, and even still there were a couple of artists that I feel like, you know, at this point didn't really do as well. 2013 was like banger because most of the artists that were on there are still relevant today, even if they're like in their own underground lane, like Action Bronson. He's not the biggest mainstream artist, but bro has a lot of diehard fans, you know?
Artists that would have longevity. In 2012, they had picks like Future, Danny Brown, French Montana, MGK, and more. They also introduced the ability for fans to vote for the 10th spot winner,
that's when
who in 2012 was Iggy Azalea. 2013 was stacked with artists like Schoolboy Q, Joey Badass,
Great year.
Soul, Logic, Travis Scott, and even Chief Keef.
Great year.
Actually couldn't make the shoot since he was in jail, so they had to edit him into the cover. In 2014, XXL featured freshmen such as Chance the Rapper, Lil Bibby, Ty Dolla $ign, Kevin Gates, Lil Durk, Isaiah Rashad, and more. Another fun fact is that XXL had also been releasing mixtapes with these artists from 2010 to 2014, and I'm not sure why they stopped, but I think it'd be really cool if they brought it back.
Yeah, they should
also,
do that
in
again.
2014, they stopped releasing physical music.
Especially since a lot of people like me, like this year, I wasn't familiar with most of the artists on XXL this year. They should do mixtapes. This way people can like actually, you know, get put onto these artists after the cypher and stuff like that, and then really get into them a lot easier. That's the first year you saw? Real. I think the first year I noticed XXL was either 2014 or 2015.
Instead opting to go fully digital. In 2015, they released the freshman cover with artists like Fetty Wap, Vince Staples, Rory, and more.
It was
However,
this year, 2015.
In 2016,
that's the first
something
one I saw.
happened that would change XXL forever. In
Say,
2016,
we ain't got much left,
XXL
literally.
released their freshman class list featuring 21 Savage, Kodak Black, Denzel Curry, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Dicky, Anderson .Paak, G Herbo, Dave East, Designer, and the 10th spot winner, Lil Yachty. At first, there were a lot of people who were upset because there weren't as many lyricists on the list like there had usually been. The list was full of a bunch of mumble rappers, if you guys remember that ancient phrase. Regardless, they released the ciphers for these artists, and they were again met with many mixed reviews. A lot of people at first clowned and made memes about the artists and their ciphers, with people even writing up articles saying it was the worst cipher of all time. If only they knew what was coming. However, something stuck out about the cipher. Of course, I'm referring to the one with 21.
Like Chance was weird and Courtney Real.
You guys know what I'm talking about. They seem to be having a ton of fun. They all had really good chemistry, and the verses were all actually pretty solid. Uzi's verse shouting everyone out, everyone smiling in the background, everyone ad-libbing each other during one another's verses, Kodak making fun of the beat and everyone laughing, and I think everyone had some memorable lines. It was a super fun cipher with amazing chemistry that we don't see in a lot of the other ciphers. The only ciphers I think that come close in this sort of chemistry and fun energy are the ones with Kendrick and Lil B, Lil Durk and Ty Dolla $ign cipher, and the one in 2009, which wasn't even really a
Those are the best ones.
Everything from the cipher to the cover for the 2016 class was perfect, especially the tagline, The New Wave, because after looking back in retrospect, they really were. However, the 2016 freshman class was in some way a double-edged sword. On one hand, it would eventually make people much more interested in the XXL freshman list, hoping that they would see some more fun ciphers and other great content surrounding their favorite artists. But it also brings me with my first reason as to why XXL is declining, and that is because, on the other hand, it likely set people's expectations way too high.
No, literally, because like, bro, this is peak XXL. They haven't even come close since then. The closest thing we got to 2016 was when X cut the beat. I'm not gonna lie, when X cut the beat, it was like, whoa, because no one ever did that, bro. No one did that. Man's got on one knee and casted a spell on everyone. And it was just like, wow, you know? We didn't get close since then, bro, literally. Like literally.
Ciphers. The chemistry, variety, and overall fun in the 2016.
This cipher was pretty good too, but like it just wasn't as fun as 2016, you know. But this is definitely like a top 5 cipher.
Ciphers
Honestly,
weren't
2013.
very common beforehand, and they weren't super common afterwards, leading people to be disappointed with the upcoming ciphers. They also got very lucky with their picks because pretty much everyone from that class went on to have a very successful career, and they haven't really been able to replicate that on most of the more recent classes. Regardless, the 2016 ciphers have the most views on average than any other class. Following the hype of the 2016 freshman class, XXL came through again with a lot of solid picks for 2017. Although a handful of artists from that class wouldn't go on to be as big as the 2016 class, they still featured people like X, Amine, Playboi Carti, and others. At the time though, these artists were super hot, and these ciphers became the second
Yo bro. Ugly God. It's not even about where's Ugly God. At this point, it's like how is Ugly God? Cause like, bro, put something out. Tell Wintertime to put something out, bro. Yo, where is Wintertime? Is he living in Russia or something at this point, bro? Like, where is Wintertime at, bro? Man's disappeared. One of the founding fathers of SoundCloud, and just like he's like farming or something now. Like, dude.
Viewed on average out of all of the others. X's cipher in particular went viral after his interesting verse. Aside from that though, this class and these ciphers,
Cardi's was terrible. His verse was terrible. Cardi didn't take this serious at all, bro.
were a lot of fun.
Not
However,
even a
in
little bit.
2018, the freshman class
Actually, Cardi's freestyle was better than his cipher verse, which is wild to think about. But
highlight yet another issue that I think is causing
Ski and Jid carried this year. Trip too, but like in general, Ski and Jid carried this year. Is that rain? Oh man, it's raining now.
people to lose interest in XXL.
Yeah.
One thing that had become much more evident in ciphers with artists like Fetty Wap, Designer, Cardi, and now most of the 2018 class is that rap is changing. A lot of artists are less reliant on lyricism and instead focus on production, vocals, and melodies to make a good track. This is very evident in Pump, Black Boy, and Perp's cipher. They were having a lot of fun and had great chemistry, but they weren't good at all. They all did see success in their careers though, because their strengths were in their ability to write catchy hooks and rely heavily on their production. As Medium.com says, if they really want to get things right, and if they really want to be relevant and respectful of modern music, XXL
it's pouring right now, like out of nowhere.
magazine needs to do what responsible leaders do when traditions become archaic and outdated. They need to highlight the talents of the artist past only lyricism. And this is a really good point because a lot of artists nowadays in the rap scene aren't as reliant on lyricism as previous rappers were. Of course, I can't ignore Jid and Ski's cipher as they both had great verses and are much better fit for a cipher, but the rest I can't say the same about. 2019 had a solid freshman class.
Okay, looking back on 2019, this was actually something special. When it came out, it was like, what is this? But, you know, since some years have passed, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Megan Thee Stallion went crazy. Okay, Comethazine went crazy. Tierra Whack went crazy. You feel me? Rico Nasty went crazy. Lil Mosey was terrible. And I love that he was terrible because we get to go back and be like, yeah, this is like the worst rap ever. You know, even DaBaby went crazy this year. He really went crazy. Corday, I mean, that's a given, but like, honestly, I feel like some of the highlights this year were actually Megan Thee Stallion and Comethazine. This was a good year looking back, but at the time it wasn't.
Too, with artists like Corday, Megan Thee Stallion, Rico Nasty, DaBaby.
Honestly, bro, I miss when Meg used to rap like this. I really do. I don't know what happened to her after this, but this is back when she used to rap. I had really high hopes for her career when this dropped, and it just, you know, she went a different way. I respect it, but, you know, it's whack.
And others.
I think.
However, a few artists on this list like Blueface, Lil Mosey, and YK Osiris helped demonstrate the idea that ciphers don't work out for every artist.
Yeah.
The 2020 list was also very solid.
2020, I still don't know why Baby Keem was in the cipher. And his freestyle ended up being the first track of his first album. Lotto actually went crazy. Lil Keed, RIP to him. His freestyle is goated. Was it good? I don't know, but it is goated though. Jack Harlow actually did go crazy. Polo G went crazy. 24K Golden had fun with it, and I like that out of him. Annalie Chopper went crazy, and Chica actually did have a really good verse, but I think the highlight of her verse was the fact that she was holding her pup during the cypher. That was fire. Everyone else was kind of like,
But featuring artists like Polo G, Jack Harlow, Annalie Chopper, Rod Wave, and many more great picks. The ciphers were actually pretty good, and even the more melodic artists performed.
My first
very
video.
well. I don't think anyone really even had a bad verse. The beats were
Honestly.
catered to them, and it was a really good class. It was actually
it was
the
pretty
last
good.
round of ciphers to average 10 million or more views.
Wow.
And from there, it would be downhill.
Yes.
Following the 2020 freshman class, views on the ciphers and overall interest began to decline. In 2021, the class featured artists like Ian Dior, 42 Doug.
bro, this was I barely remember this one at this point. Oh, Coil Rays was so bad. I remember that. Hers was, it wasn't that bad, but like it was bad. It's kind of crazy to say, but DDG was one of the highlights of this year. For sure. And Blast went crazy.
Pooh Shiesty, and others. These ciphers averaged 75% less views than the previous 4. In 2022, the freshman class featured Babytron,
Why is it so low
Saucy
quality?
Santana, Sofego, Nardo Wick, and more. This class again wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as good compared to the previous classes and had even less views on average than the previous year. And now we get to this year's freshman class, which has been facing a ton of criticism. The class had artists like Glorilla, Central C, La Tyler, and more. The announcement video had less views than any other announcement video before. All you gotta do is look at the like ratios and the comments to get an idea of how fans are feeling. And I think I've come up with a reason for this lack of interest. So my third and final reason for the decline of XXL is because rap in general is kind of getting stale. Now before you get mad at me, hear me out real quick. At first I was gonna say that picks recently have been weak, but then I thought, who else could they really pick? A lot of big artists to come out recently like Yeet or Ice Spice have declined XXL, so there really weren't too many other options. No matter who XXL picked, there aren't a lot of artists right now.
Born the 4 local early, I see at a
That's not even
bro,
the
we
artist's
sipping
fault.
prime.
Recently,
What you
rap has been
talking about?
declining statistically. An article from Billboard states that rap has slightly dipped in its musical market share, as other genres like rock and country have been growing quite a bit. And of course, I'm not trying to make this stupid.
Honestly, bro, I would love to see artists like Paris, Texas, Kenny Mason, Gene Dawson. You know what I mean? Like still, like they still make rap adjacent music, but not fully rap music. I would love to see those types of artists make something like XXL. You know? Because I feel like that would be the different approach that they need to try and generate some sort of buzz at this point. You know, like we need something completely different nowadays, you know? And honestly, a lot of those types of artists are the newer wave. Like more rappers are getting on more versatile type beats and not just rapping on 808s and stuff like that. Like we need more guitar driven music and stuff like that. And a lot of these rappers can still freestyle and stuff. So I feel like that would be cool. You know?
Argument that rap is dead, like I've seen a lot of other outlets do. I just think there aren't many new artists blowing up to a mainstream level right now. The first rap album to go #1 this year was 6 months in from Lil Uzi Vert, which kind of demonstrates the fact that artists who were previously successful
I just watched this last night.
numbers, but there aren't just as many new guys doing that. In the early 2010s, you had scenes with artists like Mac Miller, Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole, and others blowing up. In the mid 2010s, you had the SoundCloud era with Uzi, Cardi, X, Juice WRLD, and people like that blowing up. And in the late 2010s, we had people like Roddy, Polo G, DaBaby, and others blowing up. But this decade, I'd argue that we haven't really seen any scenes like that blowing up to a mainstream level. Of course, there are little pockets like Detroit rap, the opium sound, the drill sound, but there really hasn't been one scene that's taken over the mainstream.
Honestly.
And that's perfectly okay. I'm not blaming the artists or the community.
And I feel like the problem is because a lot of bigger artists are using certain sounds that, you know, could blow up, like back when Drake dropped Dark Lane and really got on drill beats like that, you know, or when Trippie dropped Trip at Night and got on rage beats. You know, not saying that they stole the sound, but I feel like when artists like that kind of bring a sound like that into the mainstream, it's harder for smaller artists to then blow up with that sound that like they created. You know, that's why, and like Plug and B, bro, there's no way Plug and B artists gonna make it to the mainstream, because a lot of them, when they blew up, it was like bad timing at this point. That's why Tana never made XXL, or Summers, or Can, you know? And then there's artists like Lucky that kind of just blew up on their own, and at this point they don't need XXL. I think that's the problem now. A lot of artists are just doing it differently.
Or the fans, I think that things need to get a little bit stagnant so that people want to hear something new. So
That too, bro. Fans nowadays do not let anything sit, bro. They just always want something new. They always want their favorite artist to drop. Artists will drop an album, a month later they want something new. Drop deluxe, drop an album, whatever, you know? Like Cochise, bro. Literally, last year, Cochise dropped a project, and I kid you not, like 2 weeks later, everyone was like, all right, bro, when you dropping again? Like, bro, like, I don't understand, but I think that's part of the problem with the streaming era, and especially like TikTok and stuff and all these sped up songs. People literally just don't have the attention span to sit and wait for stuff anymore, which is definitely harming music overall, because a lot of pop fans are worse than rap fans with that, where they will literally like harass their favorite artists all day to put out music. And it's crazy, bro.
Great hate from the newer artists on the new covers. I don't think the freestyles were bad. I think a lot of them make pretty good music. I just think the whole genre or scene as a whole isn't as interesting to mainstream listeners as it has been. Of course, I'm sure this will change. I think rap is going to be one of the top dog genres, just as it has been for the last few decades. And I think it'll be like that for quite a while. So in my opinion, because of the high standards set in 2016, the outdated style of ciphers in general, and the overall disinterest in the rap scene from mainstream listeners, is why the XXL freshman list has been on a decline. But like I said, it isn't all bad, and I'm sure a new sound will come out and captivate mainstream fans and bring a whole lot more interest to these artists, and I'm sure that XXL will be on top of it, just like they have been in previous years. Let me know down below in the comments if you disagree with me, or if you agree with my take on this, or if maybe you have another possible
definitely reason. Some valid takes.
Opinionated videos like this. I mean, a lot of it was, you know, facts and statistics, but some of it was opinions. So let me know what you guys think down below. If you want to see more of my takes on things, let me know that too. Other than that, though, thank you guys for watching. Good vid. And I'll see you guys next time.
Something I think XXL should do, and I've said this before, but I'm gonna say it again because they obviously did not listen. We need something different, bro. What I think at this point XXL should do is say, forget rappers and focus on producers, bro. Imagine like a XXL beat battle or something with all new producers, like, or not even all new producers, just like hype producers, like at the time, like Benny X, Evil Gianni, who else has been going crazy this year? I'm trying to think right now. I don't know. Honestly, it's a good thing they gave Pierre his flowers, but like, Bruh should have been on as a rapper a couple years ago. But I feel like they should definitely focus on producers a little bit more for, you know, a time, maybe Starboy, all them, like Goon Tex. I feel like that would be very interesting to see, you know, whether it's like beat battles or just like a, I don't know, bro, something interesting. Because obviously the ciphers thing, like he said, like a lot of rappers just are not lyricists nowadays, so it's like it's hard to get an interesting cipher. So I feel like they should just completely flip the script and just try something different, bro. Honestly, and even if they do it like at a different time, like instead of, because normally the ciphers are like summertime, if they do it like say March or something, like before the ciphers or whatever, it's like a whole different thing, like a producer cover or something, or like I said, just other types of artists that do different sounds, aren't just like the mainstream rap. Like I feel like they would be way better off doing something like that than trying to keep the spark alive that they've been, you know, trying to keep alive since 2016. Like, it's not the same, bro. Honestly, it's not. They gotta switch it up, bro.